Throughout the day, during the day making phone calls, recruiting people, and I was working 12-hour days every single day, Saturdays, 8 hours, man. People were like, you're a rookie. How do you figure? The guys even got insulted.
Right.
1 year later, that happened. Number one mentor in the company.
Nice.
I'm not saying that to toot my horn. I'm saying that because that comes from grit that most people don't have. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Driven Not Given podcast. And man, I say this all the time, but the reason why I say it all the time is because I have the good fortune to know some very interesting people, some very sharp people. And more than anything, these are movers and shakers. These are people that are out there making it happen. So I've been kind of stalking this guy from a distance on social media. You know what I mean? I've been seeing what he's doing. I get people talking to me about this guy, about this guy. And then I said, hey man, I need to interview an EXP agent because I'm such a big fan of EXP Realty. And I have a bunch of people that said, hey man, you got to interview this guy, boom, 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 boom. And I said, I've been looking at this dude's stuff already. So I'm excited to have him on here. This is an EXP agent, Icon agent with EXP, Joseph Trujillo. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, brother. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on, brother. You look sharp, man.
Thank you, bro. Gotta stay sharp.
You know, I saw this guy in the morning, man, and I'm thinking, man, I should have put on a suit, man. This guy, you know, he's looking like $1 million, man. So, no, but it's good to have you, bro. And I got to say, man, you're matching your car, bro.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, by design, brother. You're right. Everything life by design. So
That's right, man.
Trying to keep it intact.
That's right.
Thank you, though.
Oh, man, you're most welcome, bro. So let's get into it, Joseph. We actually had this scheduled, and then we had to postpone. Luckily, the second time it happened, and that was because of us, not because of you.
Right.
So I appreciate you being flexible with us. I know how busy you are.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about me going to visit your office, later this week, so I'm looking forward to that. But I want to dive right into it, bro. Let's get it, right?
Let's go.
So first of all, I see what you're doing, and we're going to get into your story. But before we get into your story on the professional side, tell me a little bit about you growing up, your influences growing up, and what shaped you to be the man that you are right now.
Yeah, I love that question, bro. Yeah, started from ground base, right? So
yeah,
a lot of people don't know this, but was born in New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, small town called Las Vegas. I was born inside of a home, right?
Wow,
so, yeah,
nice.
So really, really cool to have been, being born in a home. It sounds kind of weird, right? But
right.
Had a Native American, mother that helped me, just get off the ground.
Nice.
And shortly thereafter, my parents ended up moving to California.
Right.
And I was raised in Huntington Park. Yeah.
I was raised in Southgate.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah.
So did you go to Gage Middle School?
I went to Gage, Miles, and Huntington Park High School.
Nice.
Yeah. I ended up moving to Southgate toward the latter end of my high school years.
Really?
But yeah, I grew up in HP, man. Yeah, it was an interesting time to say the least in the late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
A lot of, prolific gangs and just trying to just survive day to day, brother.
Florencia's big in HP, right?
Florencia's really big.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
I had my share of run-ins with them.
Yeah.
And having family from rival gangs didn't help.
Wow.
And so it was an interesting time, to say the least.
It's interesting you mentioned HP. When I was in junior high, I got kicked out of Southgate Junior High for fighting. And they sent me to Gage.
Oh, did they?
So I went to Gage for the 8th grade. And when I'm there, we were in PE, bro. And I said this on one of the prior podcasts. We're on PE. Florencia 13 gangsters jump over the fence. They're literally, bro, chilling in the benches. Old grown men, bro.
Yeah.
18, 19, 20. I say grown men because we're junior high kids, right? And nobody tells them anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then walking to the bus stop, we would always run into Florencia, gangsters. And very often we would see there's a, what is it called? A mortuary?
Right.
Right on Gage on the way to Florence. And there was always, funerals and stuff. And you see a bunch of gangsters going there and stuff. And we used to get hit up all the time. Yeah, man, it's no joke, bro.
Oh, no, it was not, brother. It was not. Yeah, I can relate with that, brother. I have vivid memories of getting out of junior high and, people would not want to leave the campus, bro. Because as soon as they crossed the street, they were either going to get hit up, jump, have their little Jordans taken away, or their jerseys ripped off their back, whatever that looked like, right?
Oh, it's true, man.
And I was kind of fortunate enough in junior high that my family were somebody in the neighborhood. And so I kind of had the ghetto pass for a while, but that disappeared in high school. And then my family didn't make it that much easier on me. So my dad, this is pretty cool, pretty funny actually, ironic. When I was old enough to drive, I inherited the family car.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It was a 1963 Chevy Impala.
Oh, wow. That's a gangster car right there, man.
Yeah, but we had that car in the family ever since like in the 70s, right?
Wow.
But, you know, I had adapted to what was happening in my environment.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
So I welcomed the car, but a lot of shit came with it.
I would imagine, man.
We had to paint that car 3 different colors, you know, in like a span of 4 years, just because of everything that was going on, you know.
Really?
Carjacked. My mom was carjacked with my baby sister in the car.
So they carjacked her while she was driving or something, or?
Yeah, she was like pulling. We lived in Huntington Park. We lived off of Gage and a street called Hollenbeck. Behind the street in an alley, essentially. You know what I mean? And one day she was just pulling out to go to the store, and she got carjacked on the spot. I got carjacked twice. We got been shot at multiple times.
Wow.
It was a mission.
The first time I got a gun pulled on me, I was 10. I was in my neighbor's yard, and they gave me permission to pick up the cans and the bottles, right? Since I was a kid, I was a hustler, bro. I used to sell chocolates door to door. I used to sell donuts door to door. So then when I found out I could, you know, make money collecting cans, I asked the neighbors, hey, you mind if I take your cans? Yeah. So I remember my neighbor, Cheo and Blanca. They say, yeah, you can get the cans. Then I'm in their yard picking up cans, and they were gangsters too, bro, from Linwood. And so I'm picking up the cans, and some gangsters show up. They're like, what are you doing in Blanca's yard? And I was frozen, and he had like a trench coat. Then he opens up the trench coat, pulls up a double-barrel shotgun, bro. I'm 10 years old. Points it at me. And I'm freezing. He was there with another homie. And then they just start laughing. They just wanted to scare this kid, right? They didn't care about me getting those cans.
Yeah.
That was the first time I had a gun pulled on me, bro. I was like, you know, anyways, it definitely is a fork in the road for kids growing up. And I would imagine, I'd like to ask you about it.
Yeah.
For me, it was a fork in the road because there was so much influence to go the other way, to go and, you know, sell drugs, to get into the gang. I was influenced big time by the Ben Davis, you know what I mean, the creased up pants and the Nike Cortez, and I wanted to dress like that, you know what I mean. And luckily, my mom didn't let me get into that, and martial arts helped me a lot. So did you have that? You obviously had that influence, but did you ever go in that direction or were tempted to go in that direction?
No. I was never tempted. Yeah, I had great parents. Like my parents, we were humbled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Living in a 1-bedroom apartment with just my baby sister and then my younger brother.
Right.
So, no, but fortunately for me, my pops got me into Pop Warner football at an early age. So I started playing Pop Warner when I was about 8 years old, over there at Westside Park by Alameda and Gage.
Wow.
And I excelled in sports. That kind of got me off of the ground, you know.
Nice.
So I stayed playing football. I played basketball at recreation centers. And then, you know, kind of leaned into my brother to do the same. So it kept us out of the riffraff.
Good.
But the family kept pulling us in, bro. You
Really?
know, like my family was heavy into, you know,
that life.
gangs on a high level. And so they kept dragging us in little by little. But I actually attribute a lot of my success to that upbringing too, because that's where, just like you, where it kicked off my real entrepreneurial spirit, bro.
Yes.
You know, I was like 10 years old and I was making mixed tapes for all, because behind us, some veteranos from Grape Street lived in the apartments next door.
Okay.
And Weddle from Grape Street, he was 10 years old, bro, and he'd get permission from my parents. He would take me to Vernon. Right. And we'd go to the Maxwell and Sony warehouses and buy those 90-minute tapes.
Yeah.
And then my best friend, Victor Sanchez, that I was telling you about, his dad was like, this guy had every 12-inch record album since the 50s, bro.
Really?
So I would make all these mixed tapes, 90-minute mixed tapes, and I would sell them in the hood, right? And I was killing it. I was selling like 50, 60 tapes like in a week.
Yes.
So, and then, of course, I was selling, you know, chocolates for an extra $1. Giving the Pop Warner football too, and I would keep one.
Yes.
So just that hustle, bro. That street hustle really got me off the ground. It was important. It was my first level of education.
That's such a big deal right there because, you know, when you're a kid growing up in that environment, I attribute a lot of my results and the person that I am to that, right? Because I also grew up in karate, and in karate, I saw a lot of kids with both parents, which is great. My son has two parents, but a lot was given to him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't really earned, right? That's part of the reason why the podcast is called Driven, Not Given. Nothing was given to me, man. You know, I'm sure not much, if at all, was given to you. You had to earn it, right? And so that, I'm also an immigrant from Mexico, so that immigrant mentality for me of like, hey, let's make it happen. Let's figure out a way. You know, Tony Robbins says your biggest resource is your resourcefulness. So you were resourceful. You got permission from your parents. You went and bought those tapes, and you figured out, and you had to go out there and pitch somebody on something, right? And so that is something that I admire a lot, bro, in people. And that's something that a lot of people have in common. If they don't go that bad route, and they use that and they channel it for something good, you know, for me it was. I'll briefly tell you this story. I was selling chocolates for my school for $1. And then we passed by Helen Grace Chocolate Factory on Long Beach and Martin Luther King. Yeah. Yep. Now, or is it Imperial? At the time, it was Long Beach and Martin Luther King. Yeah. Now it switched. It's a little bit further, and so it says 50% off fundraisers. So we stopped by, find out what it is, my mom and I, and we find out, hey, you get these sell for $1. If you buy 100 worth, you get them for 50 cents. So you get 200 chocolates for $1. No taxes. It's for fundraisers. Long story short, my mom let me borrow the money to get them. And I'm selling chocolates door to door. Before you know, I'm making 50 cents. Before you know, I have 5 kids, bro. Leverage. Selling chocolates door to door. They're making a quarter. I'm making a quarter. Yeah. Then the neighbor makes some delicious donuts. He's like, hey, man, you guys selling chocolates. You guys want to sell some donuts too? Sure. What do you got? 50 cents each. Boom, boom, boom. So we start selling them door to door. We're carrying these big old igloo things. Yeah. And we're going door to door selling donuts, right? And so, but in your case, you were selling mixtapes.
Yeah, same. Yeah, exactly, bro. Nice. Same thing, man. Yeah, I think when you find yourself in that environment, reflecting on it, there's a choice, right? You're either going to do this or that.
Yes.
And so I'm thankful for my parents to be able to give me that influence, at least push me into that, you know, athletic kind of mindset. And then it also gave me a buffer between what was happening between me and in my environment at the time. You know, so I mean, literally. Walk, because I used to have to walk to school to gauge. Right. So for where I'm at, it's a mile. And if you can imagine at the time, Los Angeles, I believe it was the murder capital rate of the world at the time.
Right.
Every street was a different gang.
Wow.
So you're getting hit up from gang, street to street to street. So, you know, I'd grab a basketball and I would run to school in the morning.
Right,
you know, and so it made me stronger, made me more mentally, you know what I mean?
That's cool, man.
In place. So yeah, it was an interesting time, but to be able to survive and get through it was a big deal.
So do you have your kids in sports now?
I do. All my kids have been in sports.
Such a key, right? Sports are such a big key.
Yeah.
I did martial arts all my life to this day. I'm 38 years old. I've been doing it now 28 years. My son is in jiu-jitsu. I train him, you know, karate and kickboxing. To me, that's one of the things that a lot of successful people have in common is sports, right? You know, if you just study, not everybody has the same things in common, but one of the overwhelming things that you'll see is sports, especially people that grew up in the hood. Sports is something that kept them away from that. So that's definitely some advice I'd give to a young person, especially maybe from some of these neighborhoods that are not, you know, don't have the best influence. Hey, man, find a good mentor. For me, I found mentors in sports, and sports definitely kept me out of a lot of trouble.
Definitely, brother. Definitely, especially in high school when you can really get involved. Yes. You know what I mean? In the wrong place.
Right.
So being in athletics in high school was a really, really big deal for me. Coach Joe Reed, one of my close mentors at the time, he was the Huntington Park High School basketball coach. Played football, did all that. So, nice. Barring a few injuries, I had dreams of going into college and further.
Sure.
But of course, that got stifled with a broken leg and collarbone injury. But,
oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what happened to my senior year.
Wow.
Yeah, but in my junior year at All City, had made gotten
you were a very good player then.
Some pretty good accolades. Yeah, my brother was actually better than me. Yeah. I'll give him that little salute. He actually played at Southgate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he played at Southgate. And then he went back to my alma mater to play at HP. So
interesting.
Yeah, he was a baller.
My brother is a very good basketball player, and he did karate with me when we were young. like at 10 years old. He was actually better than me as well.
Yeah.
But he went the basketball route, and then I stayed with the karate route. Then I got better. Let's go ahead and what I want to know is, talk to me about your professional career. You're obviously you're an Icon agent with EXP. You've got your office with them. You've got a big team, right? So we're switching gears here, obviously. Okay. But before EXP, bro, I got some interesting news right now, right before we started the podcast. Tell us about your background before you got into the real estate industry, before EXP.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people ask me, like, tell me a little bit about your life story, and I ask them, I say, have you ever seen Blood In, Blood Out?
Right.
You ever seen that movie?
I sure have.
Right? So you have like the gangster, and the gangster grew up, and then you kind of convert. One of them goes into the Marine Corps.
Right.
That's exactly my path, bro.
Wow.
So I quickly realized out of high school that, college wasn't going to be for me.
Right.
Failed my first, quarter or semester in college.
Uh-huh.
And my pops was in the Marine Corps, another influencer in my life.
Nice.
He did 2 tours in Vietnam.
Wow.
God bless him, and he's still alive, but I'm thankful that he at least still has his sanity, right?
Right.
So I went right into the Marine Corps.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you for your service, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I
and your
appreciate
dad.
that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, went right into the Marine Corps right out of high school then. And again, brother, just try to excel at everything that I was doing, brother.
Right,
like every time, whether I was young, I just created this mentality that no matter what environment, I was going to just kill it where I'm at.
Yes.
Right? I wasn't trying to, if I wasn't going to be the professional athlete, I'm at least going to kill it in high school. And I took the same mentality in the Marine Corps, became like the most physically fit Marine at the time.
Wow.
Achieved a lot of really cool accolades there. And then it was time, and then it was reality. Then it's like, all right, you're coming back home now, And so coming back home, I actually ran across a lot of kind of pitfalls too. I hit a failure, got a DUI right out of the Marine Corps.
Oh, man.
Because I had planned on becoming a police officer.
Got it.
And I said, I'm going to get into police work because that's what I did in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And then I, of course, get back home, partying, hanging out with the bros, got a DUI, and then that'll cancel your career quick.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you get a DUI, you cannot be a cop?
I don't know about now, but back then, if you had a DUI, it was very difficult to become a police officer.
That's funny, man.
Yeah,
what's interesting is that sometimes things happen to us, but, and they're blessings in disguise, right? For example, I was going to join the Marine Corps. I went to Belgrave and Pacific to join the Marine Corps 2 weeks after 9/11 because I couldn't get a job. I didn't have a social security number at 18. They told me, we cannot accept people without a social security anymore. We used to, not anymore.
Right.
So I didn't. If I would have gone into the Marine Corps, I would have for sure gone overseas, bro.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? 2 weeks after 9/11.
For sure.
My wife now tells me, your life would have probably been a lot different, significantly different, had they accepted you. But at the time, I felt bummed. Like, oh man, I'm trying to help out my mom. I can't. Things happen for you, not to you. But at the moment, you don't know that they're happening for you. So it seems like that may have been the case with you as well.
Certainly was, brother. Certainly was. Yeah, that set the foundation for me. But then coming back home, getting a reality check. But it didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we do, right? We face these trials and tribulations. So I ended up, long story short, I ended up bouncing around, and then I finally landed a job. Somebody gave me a shot, bro. Okay. Probably shouldn't have, but they gave me a shot at a federal government job.
Really?
Yeah. So I started working in the federal prison system.
Interesting.
Yeah, bro. Federal prison
system.
system.
How was
that? Nothing nice.
I can imagine.
Nothing nice. You know what I mean? But I was thankful I had a full-time paying job.
It was probably a good paying job?
Yeah, great paying job. Federal job, right?
Right.
But my background, growing up in the neighborhood, kind of came full circle too, because then I started running into people that I knew.
Oh, wow.
My own aunt was locked up in that prison, and so there was a lot of challenges. But I found something that I was good at, bro. So I ended up, because I was able to decipher a lot of like letters, and I knew gangs and stuff like that. They put me on a gang intel team, and I just thrived.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? And so I ended up being part of like this joint terrorism task force in Department of Justice, and bro, I just try to chip away and just try try to kill it. And
nice.
Yeah, 5-6 years later, 9/11 happens.
Okay, yeah.
And when that happened, again, it changed everybody's lives, right?
Yep.
And I raised my hand. They were looking for volunteers to go do federal agent work,
Okay.
Internationally and domestically. And I jumped into that field.
Wow.
And started, instead of doing gangs, I went into terrorism. So I started doing counterterrorism work for the government, and then did a few other executive moves in that process, and I ended up retiring. Yeah, I ended up retiring with about 22 years of federal government service.
Wow.
Just this January.
This January.
Yeah.
2021.
2021.
So were you doing real estate part-time before?
Yeah, you can say part-time. I say bilocational.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because as I was traveling, I mean, I've traveled over 60 countries.
Right. Wow.
So I've gotten a lot of life experience through my travels. And applied all that kind of,
I think you got more life experience, bro, than some people in their 80s, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like all this traveling and, these different things. But one of the things that's very interesting about you that caught me by surprise completely was when you told me before we started recording, I would have assumed that you've been in real estate for like 15 years, bro.
Yeah.
With your success, your results, your team, your office, everything, right? But how long have you been in real estate, bro?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
And full time?
So what happened with me is I was just going to sell my house. At the time I was living in Fontana.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? We're going to sell our house. But I was that dude that didn't want to pay commission.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I said, I'm not going to pay these guys 6%. That's crazy talk. I'm going to get my license. I'm going to sell it myself.
Yeah.
So I put my house on the market. I got my own buyer. And that buyer had to sell their house. I made $30,000 off of one transaction. I said, I can do this. It doesn't matter where I'm at, right?
Right.
So from that moment, I realized that you didn't really have to be physically in front of a lot of consumers in order to have a successful career.
Right.
Right. So I was working at a small independent company out of Temecula,
okay,
where I never really had face-to-face, no training, no nothing, and I was just transacting.
Wow.
Yeah. So my first 6 months in real estate, still working full-time for the government, I sold 25 homes that year.
That's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
So here's a question, though. There's people that are listening to this say, okay, you had a full-time job and you sold 25 transactions in a year. Here's a question. How? Yeah. What did you do, bro? Because you certainly could not have been a secret agent.
Right. No.
You had to let people know, hey, man, I'm doing really, even if you tell them you're doing it part-time.
Yeah.
So here's a question that I have, as long as, just like other people. How did you sell 25 homes your first year part-time, bro?
Yeah. I dialed into my sphere beyond measure, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, that's really what I attribute the success to initially, was I had 20 years, and many of us do, 20 years of relationships.
Yes.
And I was fortunate in a particular field. So I've known a lot of law enforcement, a lot of family, a lot of firefighters. I mean, these guys are great clientele.
Yes.
And so I would, when people say pour into them, I was going next level, bro. So if I helped one of my buddies sell or buy a home, I was, contributing a lot of my commission in order to make sure that they were successful in their sale or in their purchase.
Okay.
Whether it was buying them all appliances or helping them with a move. Mm-hmm. I was fortunate. I had another source of income that I could offset.
Sure.
In order to leverage the commissions that I was making.
You were investing in yourself, bottom line.
Completely.
And that's one of the things, bro, that I see that a lot of salespeople do not treat it like a business, and I believe they should, right? They don't invest in themselves. You know what I mean? I often say people want more time and money, but they don't realize they have to invest time and money. You got to invest the time and you got to invest the money. And so when you are helping out your clients this way, it's a creative way. Not only that, you want to get your clientele base out there, right? You want to get your face out there. Not only that, what it does too is also your confidence, right? You're putting more deals in escrow. You're cashing checks. So when you're talking to another customer, I would imagine that your confidence is higher. So you got a higher likelihood of getting another client, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That first year, I mean, and I don't think I ever had any doubt that it could be done.
Sure.
But that first year definitely solidified the fact that it could be done on a high level. Because I didn't know any better, bro. I'm not that 20-year-old guy that comes from Keller Williams or Remax. Right. That's not my background,
Right.
So I had never been exposed. I never had a ceiling, right?
Yes.
I never had a ceiling. I didn't know if 10 homes was good or 20 homes or 30. So the next year I came back and I sold 48 and then 52 and then 60.
Wow.
So just not having exposure to what people will say, "Oh wow, you're this, but you're this." You know, there was no stigma attached to what I was doing.
You said something so key. You didn't know if 10 was good. You didn't have a ceiling, right? You didn't know if 10 was good, too little, or too much. It reminds me of a song by Jason Aldean. My son loves that song, right? He says, "We thought everybody else was just like us, baking in the rain, soaking in the sun," or vice versa.
Yeah.
Don't quit till the job gets done, right? I love that song. And so sometimes people go out there and excel just because nobody put limitations on them. Exactly. Nobody said, "Hey, this many sales is like a lot." Yeah. Somebody just said, "Hey," or "knocking for this long in a day is like a lot," or "when it's hot, we don't knock." It's like, no, they said to go knock. Sometimes ignorance, and this is so true, ignorance on fire is way better than intelligence on ice.
100%.
Sometimes people just know too much, quote unquote, know too much, and that's why they don't succeed. When you got somebody like you didn't know anything. You just said, "Hey, let's just go out there," and because you already had the mindset of whatever you do, you're going to excel in. Right. Tell me, before we get into the next subject, which is the EXP, tell me a little bit about that mindset inside of your mind, bro. Everything that you do, you go out there and you want to excel. That's not everybody. Mm-hmm. So what attributes to that, or what advice can you give somebody so they could develop that?
Yeah. I always start with small wins, brother.
Okay.
Small wins. Like the L's are going to come.
Right.
But if I've always been of the mindset, if I could have enough wins to overstep those losses, mm-hmm. then it gives me that push to continue to go forward.
Right.
Continue to go forward, right? And I learned that really like in my Pop Warner days.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, you're going to get tackled. It's going to happen.
That's right.
Right? But I'm going to get in that end zone. It's going to happen.
That's
right. I don't care. You give me the ball 20 times, I'm going to get there.
That's right.
So the drive, right? Mm-hmm. The drive to get where you want to go far surpasses the L's that you're going to take along the road. You're going to get tackled, but get your ass up and go.
Yes.
Get your ass up and go. Same thing. Like, I mean, you and I, it sounds like you've had a fighter's background, right?
Yeah.
I've had my share of fights in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But never once did I ever get hit and stay down.
Right.
I'm going to get up. I'm going to fight.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're going to get a hell of a fight out of me. I don't care if there's 5 or 10 of you guys.
Right.
But my mindset is I'm not going down without a fight.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right, man.
Yeah.
And that is definitely for me, it's a philosophy, mm-hmm. right? I believe it's your philosophies that shape your attitudes, that shape your actions, results, and lifestyle. My philosophy is, hey, it's not over until I win. I got that from Les Brown. It's not over until I win, and I can't lose unless I quit, right? So if I quit, okay, then that's when I am voluntarily losing. But other than that, right, unless I quit. So how did you end up at EXP Realty, bro? That's something I really want to know.
Yeah, so, and I kind of mentioned it before, even just doing real estate, bilocationally, part-time, whatever that looked like at the time, I was doing it untraditionally. Everybody does cold calling and all that old real estate. I didn't know. That's what you're supposed to do. Right. So I didn't work like that. I went direct to consumer, on my own. So I took my own hard-earned commission dollars and I started investing in my own leads. Mm-hmm. And then I was just converting leads at a high rate. And I attribute the high conversions to, again, just life experience. I know how to talk to people. I don't care what color you are, what language you speak.
That's right.
Like, I'm gonna connect with you.
That's right.
And don't get me in front of you, because if I get in front of you, that's it. It's a wrap.
That's right.
Right. So
that is a mindset.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
And so the conversion rates came, but it was in traditional work, right? And so hence came EXP. My close partner and one of my best friends, Decatur Thornton. Him and I had been getting the calls about EXP. We were getting calls. And so we started taking a look at the model, collectively. And at first, I was like, I'm good. My gate wasn't open, bro.
Yes.
My gate wasn't open.
It's all about timing when recruiting.
Timing. Mm-hmm. All about timing. But I did look at it.
Yeah.
And I said, no, there's some cool features to that. But it was unproven. And I didn't know if
it was too new at the time.
Too new. But a few months later, catch me on the right night, mm-hmm. Started watching YouTube. I just inundated myself with YouTube videos, and the light bulb just went off, and I'm just like, bing, this is where it's at, And it just so happened, the next day I get a call from a good friend of mine, Limari, and she's like, hey, Joe, and I had been trying to recruit her. She was trying to recruit me, and she mentions EXP. I'm like, yeah, let's go to lunch. Let's talk about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, just like that, because I already knew we were going there. you know?
Wow. And you had already been looking at videos.
Yeah.
So you were preparing yourself because you were intrigued. What is it that intrigued you about EXP?
It was the untraditional model initially.
Yes.
Completely untraditional.
Yes.
So everything that they were talking about, I was already doing on my own, but
Right.
just to a smaller degree.
Sure.
Right? So looking at the model, I said, you know what? Commissions really wasn't a big driver for me,
Sure.
but I knew based off of production, I was going to adopt 2 other revenue streams that I didn't have at the moment.
Correct.
Right? So to be able to get stocks and shares in the company gave me some ownership, right?
Yep.
And I like to have ownership in everything that I do.
Yes.
So that was a big, big deal. And then the opportunity to receive and leverage through revenue sharing for me was just, that was the game changer. That was the huge. I was just like, I know that I can attract people. You know
Yes.
what I mean? I've attracted good people in the past,
Right.
but didn't monetize it.
Right.
And so taking that and putting all that, the technology, everything else was just, you know, the icing on top.
Right.
And then, so yeah, I knew we was going to go there. Conversation happened with Imari. She brought Leo along. We sat down one day and I was just like, all right, I'm ready to go. You didn't have to convince me.
It was a wrap.
I had already sold myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's interesting because we were talking about this earlier. Comp plan drives behavior. If you just pay somebody a big commission, they're going to focus on sales. Great.
Right.
That's what you want to focus on. But if you pay somebody a good, very good commission like EXP does, I think it's an 80-20 split.
Right. Exactly.
So 80-20 split. And then out of their 20%, a percentage of that is paid 7 levels deep.
Exactly.
Right? That gives the agent the opportunity to build a company within a company. The reason why I relate to that so much, and you know this, is because you'll hear, this is one of the most overused quotes that I'll ever say. It's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat, right? So what drew me to Power Energy is that it is the exact equivalent of EXP. The owner was smart enough to know, hey man, look at what these guys at EXP are doing. They got agents making, you know, yearly income on a monthly basis and some of them on a weekly basis from overrides.
Yes.
Right? Look at what their stock did because of their business model. Look at their revenue. Look at how they're the fast growing company. So they copied it, but instead of real estate, we do it with solar. That's why you and I, you know, we're connected. And that's what drew me to it too. I said, hey, so now we've got a lot of agents on the team, the way that you do as well. And so, but because a comp plan drives behavior, now you have an incentive with EXP to grow a company within a company. So now you've got your office, right? Which I'm going to go check out later this week. And you've got agents selling, right? You guys are seeing results. I'm sure you're seeing those passive checks from the organization, right?
100%, brother. Yeah, it's changed. Like I say this with humility. It has changed the trajectory of my life forever and my family's.
Yes.
Completely has. And like you had mentioned earlier on, like these are humble beginnings that we come from, right? So
Right.
I won't be left a house or a car or any money from my family.
Right.
I'll be the first one in my family to create some legacy.
They say if you didn't come from a rich family should come from you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And yeah, it's true. And that's one of the things that these businesses, and in this day and age, 50 Cent in 2001 in his first album said, the only excuse for being broke is being in jail. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's so much opportunity if you're a hustler.
Right.
And so, and that's exactly what you're doing. Let me ask you this because this happens in Power a lot. And I've seen it with EXP too. Does EXP still have a lot of haters, bro?
100%. 110%, bro. 110%. And I'll tell you why, brother.
Tell me.
So it's identified in any great not real estate model, but in any great business model.
True.
You're going to go through this influx of growth, right?
Yes.
And EXP, just like Power, we're still in our early adopter phase.
Right.
We have 55,000 agents right now. We know EXP is going to have 1 million agents in 7 to 10 years. It's going there.
It's inevitable.
So those that are here today, right? And I'm fortunate to have joined 2 years, 7 months ago. But even those that are joining today are going to have this opportunity for a complete financial abundance.
Yes.
Okay. And so it is something that needs to be paid attention to. But after we get to 10%, right? 10% growth, then we'll start getting people that were like, wait, I heard about EXP. Now I'm paying attention to it, right?
Yes.
So we'll have that phase of individuals, the 10 to 20%,
right,
that kind of were the naysayers.
Yep.
And then you'll go through all these other phases. And at the end, it'll be the people that have literally flip phones today And God bless you if you have one.
That's right. That's right.
You haven't adopted to what's happening culturally or from a business perspective.
Right.
And you got left behind.
Yes.
You got left behind.
I think a lot of this hatred comes because there's a lot. I've seen real estate brokers from traditional real estate companies hate on EXP, just like I see traditional solar dealers, which is the equivalent to a real estate broker, right? Solar dealers hate on power. And here's why. They realize if my people really see, a lot of them, not because some of them, they don't understand the model, but some of them do. Make no mistake about it. Some of them have seen all these videos that you've seen in the beginning. The thing is that they're too invested with what they've got. Maybe they got their little franchise or their office. You know, they got a nice established thing. And let's face it, people don't like change, right? For the most part, especially if they've got a comfortable income. They're making some nice overrides on their, you know, I've got some agents that I told, hey, how come you don't join EXP? Some brokers. And they tell me, bro, I would make less money than I do now. I was like, yes, you would make less money on the initial override from your office.
Yes.
But not in the long run. Your guys don't have an opportunity to build an organization. Eventually, some of them are going to leave. Right, so you may have 20, 30 agents working for your office now, but you're never going to have 400. You're never going to have 1,000. Nobody's going to be, you know, in one particular office that way. So they don't get it. So in solar, we experience the same thing, right? So a lot, you know, there's these Facebook groups and whatnot, and there's people that they try to bash.
Yeah.
But then when their sales reps, I say, you better pray that your sales rep doesn't find my videos. You better pray that your sales rep doesn't get in front of me, because if you swim with a shark, you may get bit.
Yes.
And if your guys get in front of me and I show them how they're going to make more money, earn stock options on a pre-IPO, how to build leverage and sell nationwide and build a team and all this stuff, it's a wrap. You're going to go from that comfortable room with AC to hitting the field again the way you did when you were new. And they don't like it when I tell them that, right? And so I see this on Facebook. I see one of our mutual friends, you know, he posts about, you know, EXP, and he posted a meme, right? I thought it was a funny meme. And he got so much hatred from guys in traditional real estate. But some of them are brokers. It's understandable that they're hating on this model because they don't want to lose their agents to this model.
Of course not. No, they'll do whatever it takes to protect it, you know. But I've forecasted many times with many of those conversations that I'm having, you know, in recruitment talks, right?
Sure.
And without mentioning a bunch of names, many of them are just waiting for those, you know, franchise contracts to come to an end to make a move.
Really?
So yeah, it's coming. It's happening. Coming. You know, but and there's a lot of great companies out there.
Sure.
Like, I mean, you could name them, right? There's a lot of great agents out there, and I have much respect for them.
Right.
But again, I think not having been in this industry that long has given me an opportunity to look at it a little bit differently. You know, so I would never get into something where I'm going to have a broke mindset and be an employee forever.
Correct.
I'm just not going to do that. You know,
even if it's sales, you know, there's a saying about sales reps and about realtors. Realtors don't retire; they just die one day because they sell real estate until the day they die. Now, the smart ones, they're buying doors, right? The smart ones are taking their commissions. That, you know, they know how to manage their money. They're putting, you know, they're investing in whatnot. They got their life insurance. They got their real estate portfolio. But the majority of them, they're not doing that, man. No. And what EXP lets people do is, hey, man, come and build a company with a company. Within the company. So, you know, you could build a team. And here's it was such a genius move that every real estate transaction that you guys have, for the most part, almost everyone, probably 95%, you're dealing with another realtor anyway. So you're networking with another realtor.
Constantly.
Just makes a lot of sense, man.
Constantly. And even like, and I understand, like sometimes the argument is like, well, not everybody's going to build an organization like you, Joe. And rightfully so.
Sure.
100% agree.
Right.
But if you're able to just attract one or two, you know, is a few $100 or $1,000 going to change how you live your day to day? Maybe not. Right. But that's just one component. Like the stock that we get, you know, having been an icon for 3 years now, I've been blessed. You know, I've received this $16,000 stock award 3 years over.
Wow.
And, you know, again, I sit across the table from a lot of agents, and they'll mention the stock.
Yeah,
and I'll be like, bro, have you ever earned a stock from the company you're with right now?
Right.
No. Well, then getting $100, $200, $300, $400 worth of stock could mean something to you in the long run, right?
Exactly.
But that mindset hasn't been established in the real estate industry where
Right.
there is an actual plan in place other than the traditional stuff like doors.
Sure.
Where you have like a 401k type of component or some life savings plan to have the exit strategy and not be that 70-year-old, real estate agent doing open houses on the weekends.
Right.
Like,
right.
who wants that?
No.
You know what I mean? There's nothing more valuable than time.
And what's interesting to me is this, man. You know, I get it. Building a team is not for everybody, and I respect that. That's cool. And to me, success is being happy, man. You don't have to make a lot of money to be happy. Money certainly doesn't equal happiness. Certainly helps. It helps having a more comfortable life. But for example, if you're selling real estate, recruiting, all it is selling as well. You're a everybody's a salesperson, man. Yeah. And yeah, I get it. That's fine. But there's a lot of agents out there that are struggling with whether or not to make the switch. And by the way, I'm not a part of EXP. I'm just a raving fan of EXP. Yeah. So when I say all of these things, God is my witness. I'm not a part of EXP. Guess what, though? My wife is getting licensed, and we will be. But as of right now, today,
yes,
I'm not a part of EXP. But I'm such a big component of it, right? Because, listen, man, you're going to be going out there selling real estate. You might have some friends that right now are not a part of EXP. Eventually, they will be a part of EXP. And I'm sure there's going to be some competing companies. Right now, EXP, with that business model, with real estate, is a Coca-Cola of the real estate industry. You know what I mean? For that business model.
Hands down.
Isn't it the fastest growing company right now in real estate?
In the history of real estate.
In the history of real estate.
Right.
Success leaves clues, man.
Yeah, it does. 55,000 agents today. Wow. Our goal is to hit 100,000 by the end of this year. So everybody, and that's one argument that I get from a lot of great agents is like, well, you guys already have grown. Like, we missed the boat. Like, the stock, like, it's already climbed. It's like, no. We haven't even reached 3% market share, 3 or 4%.
They don't understand.
This year, EXP will grow the fastest in 1 year than any company has ever done in the history of real estate.
Wow.
Yeah, in 1 year, comparably.
You know what's interesting?
A lot of opportunity.
Yes, success leaves clues. EXP, number one fastest growing company in real estate. Guess what is the number one fastest growing company in solar? Power. Yeah. Smoking everybody. Why? Because a comp plan drives behavior. I am incentivized to show other people the solar business. It's an equal opportunity. Like in the solar dealer, here's the way it works. A guy brings a guy in I'm on a big commission. Let's say the company and me, I'm on a big commission. If I bring you in, I pay you a smaller commission, so I earn an override.
Right.
If you bring Jay in, you pay him a smaller commission, so you could earn an override. When Jay brings AJ in, guess what? AJ's getting paid peanuts. He's got no leverage. That model's broken. Mm-hmm. So I tell people, look, everybody's on the same biggest commissions in the industry, and everybody could build and get paid 6 levels deep. Everybody could earn stock options. Everybody could sell nationwide. That's what people don't understand. And here's the thing. A lot of times the ego costs you so much money. A lot of people don't really sit down. Here's my encouragement to anybody watching right now that's on the ropes with EXP. Find the EXP realtor you want to work with. I would highly suggest my friend Joseph. Sit down and look at the information, even if it's to sit down and say, I've seen it all and it's not for me. But what if it is, right? What if it is? What if it doesn't work? Okay, what if it does? Because it's working for you.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah. In a high degree, right?
In a high degree, I know.
And when I was looking at the model, this was another, key component for my decision was, it wasn't just about me.
Right.
Right. I had a team at my independent company. I was that 100% commission guy and getting overrides at the independent.
Right.
Like, so when people talk about, oh, well, I don't want to go to 80-20 and change my commission, I'm like, well, that's exactly what I did.
Right.
Right. Because it's what you see in your financial future that's most important.
Right.
And more importantly, I knew that if I said no to this model, that I was going to have my agents exposed to a lesser model.
Yes.
Right? Lesser model. So it was financially irresponsible not to make the move to EXP.
Wow.
Financially irresponsible.
Makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Before I got started with Power, I didn't know Power had a model like this. That's what got me here. They said, hey, we're the EXP version of solar. Seriously, there couldn't have been a better line to get me to look at it. Yeah. That was the reason why I said, wait a minute, what? Because It was a different model before. Less than 2 years ago, they switched to the model that you guys have. And I said, that's a big statement. Show me. And I said, I'll look with everything.
Yeah.
Because I was going to start my own dealer and create that model, which was a big uphill battle.
For sure.
Getting the back office and all the legalities. But I was willing to go that route because I didn't want to go and offer somebody just like, oh, here, be a transactional salesperson the rest of your life, where 10 years from now, you're still going to be prospecting, you know what I mean, to find a deal. Forget that.
Yeah.
And so that was, now we got agents, man. We got unlimited leads because of the model that we've got. We got unlimited leads. Like when you get to the mentor position in our group, like it's a 6-figure income easy from home, right? And so, but that would have never happened had I never looked at it. So the question for you on EXP is, where do you see yourself and your organization in the next 5 years?
Oh, 5 years?
Yes, 5 years from now.
By the end of this year, I'll have 1,000 agents in my organization.
Wow.
By the end of this year.
Wow.
Most people would be happy with that, you know? But I'm young, got a lot of moto.
Right.
And now we're going to keep going. So 5 years, the way EXP is growing based on the numbers, after 3 years, I think it's estimated about 25x.
Wow.
Right, 25x. So if I can, when I hit that 1,000 this year, 5 years from now, 25,000, that's the goal.
25,000 agents on your team, man. With those
25,000
commissions,
agents, yeah.
that business model, it's a wrap. You
a
could
wrap.
decide to ride off into the sunset, brother.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I'll be 50 at the time, so that'll be a nice deal, brother. That'll be a nice deal.
Yeah, man. And 50 is a new 40, bro.
Yeah, exactly, man.
You know, and to a lot of people, 50 is a new 35, man.
Yeah.
You're one of those people, man. You know, you stay in shape, you're active, you're after it. I'm 38 years old now. I go to the kickboxing gym, man, and I train with guys that are in their 20s.
Yeah.
And then I tell them I'm 38. They're like, dude, I had no idea because I'm kicking their ass. You know what I mean? And so it's, you know, the millionaire this day and age is not like the millionaire in the 80s. Oh, no. When you look at a stereotypical millionaire in the 80s, you think of some old bald guy that's fat and out of shape, right? Now it's a guy that's in shape, sharp, energetic, crushing it. You know what I'm saying? You know, taking care of his health. It's the world is switching big time.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
So, no, it's exciting, man. So 5 years, 25,000 people.
5 years, 25,000, brother.
What do you think that would equal in override income? If you had to guess.
25 times 1,000 per agent, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, probably looking at 20-some million.
Wow.
Somewhere around there.
That's nuts, man.
It's bananas.
So on the business side, give me a story, bro, of a time in your life where you had a really tough time. Maybe hit rock bottom, or you were doing well and then all of a sudden you're not doing well, and how you overcame something like that. That is a very common question that I like to ask because everybody can relate to that, right? Life has its seasons, right? You know, Jim Rohn says the same wind blows on us all. The wind of disaster, the wind of change, the wind of this and that. But it's not the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sail.
Certainly.
Right? It's not about what happened to me, but about how I handle that thing that happened to me. So tell me a time in your life, whether it was from very early on or your adult life, that maybe you had something like that happen.
It was definitely the one that I referenced earlier on about that DUI.
That's right.
It really was.
Yes.
Because for 4 years, you know, when I was in the Marine Corps, that was the plan, you know, get out, become a police officer, have a good, you know, salary and pension and all that stuff. So to come out, I think I was literally out like a week, bro, when I got that DUI.
Wow.
A
1 week.
So it shattered 4 years of, you know, some hopes and dreams, but it, you know, it happened for a reason. You know what I mean? It certainly happened for a reason. And that definitely knocked the wind out of my sail, bro. Definitely knocked the wind out of my sail. I ended up thinking, wow, now I'm just going to work. You know what I'm saying? I think at the time I ended up getting like a job doing construction, hard labor. I mean, I was working my ass off. Getting good money.
Sure.
But it certainly wasn't where I wanted to be, you know. And so part of, and my lesson that I learned there was with that DUI. And this was back like in 95, something like that. So with that DUI, I ended up having to go to AA classes.
Oh, wow.
You know, at the time, they make you go to AA classes. And I was sitting there in this room with other people that had DUIs. Many of them were like serious alcoholics, right?
Right.
And to hear the stories, I mean, bro, it put me in a place mentally where I was like, I was thinking to myself, wow, at first I don't belong here. But to hear how, that journey has taken them, and they never recovered from that rock bottom experience.
That's tough. Yeah,
it was very difficult to be in those settings at such a young age.
Right.
But I learned, and that's what I'm thankful for, is that not did I learn, but I adopted a different process to come out of that and push forward. So when I got that prison job, right? Yeah, it was shitty, but I was thankful.
Right.
And I just busted my ass to climb from there.
That's good.
So that was definitely probably a pivotal point in my life where I could have went sideways.
Yep.
Kept partying, kept drinking, getting more DUIs, ending up in prison. Like, I've seen that cycle.
Yeah.
Like, I have that cycle in my family.
Right.
Right? Or this path.
Right. It's true.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for that.
I know. I agree with that. What about to a struggling salesperson, whether it be real estate or any other industry? You might have a struggling salesperson listening to this interview, watching this interview. What advice would you give a struggling salesperson? They just can't seem to get it going. What advice would you give somebody like that?
Alignment.
Okay.
100% alignment. Like, everybody talks about mentorship, coaching, and training. Incredibly important aspects to a business, right?
Sure.
I take on all that now myself, that I have money to do it.
Right.
Right? Now, when I didn't have money and I didn't know any better, I was fortunate enough to be able to have the hunger to push forward and succeed.
Right.
Not everybody has that.
Sure.
But what everybody does have or has the opportunity to do is create an alignment that is going to show them a better and maybe a more diligent process in finding some levels of success and wins.
Got it.
It's one of the most important elements in the company I'm with now at the EXP.
Right.
Because now EXP is a somewhat warm conversation, bro.
It is, right?
Yeah, people are seeing the success and they're looking at it, right? But now we have a bunch of individuals out there that they can, that are reaching out to them to join. And the decision that a lot of great agents have to decide now is, who am I going to align with in leadership?
Right.
To, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not have to go through those trials and tribulations in their career.
Yes.
And reach a higher level of success faster.
Correct.
Faster. So I'm really big on making shit happen now.
Right.
Like, the 5-year plan, I love that, right?
Right.
I have the 5, 10-year, 15 plan life set out.
Mm-hmm.
But I am incredibly motivated to get it done today.
That's right.
I want to get it done today.
That's right.
I'm impatient with success.
Yes.
And so that mentality creates a different awareness in your business. But I attribute alignment, because I'm fortunate. I'm about 8 chairs in my organization from the man, Glenn Sanford, right?
Right.
So as I look at, the different leadership, and I have a great leadership alignment.
Yes.
And I offer that to everybody that I partner with. And so by design, my business now is such where, like, you want to partner with me? Let's make something happen. Let's make some gold. Right?
Yes.
And so.
And one of the things about you with EXP, bro, is that you do both. You do the sales. You do the recruiting. You do the training. You do the leadership. You're not just focused on the recruiting side or the selling side. You do both. You're a double threat, triple threat, right?
Right.
And that's one of the things that I respect a lot, because a lot of times people in this type of industry, they may only focus on one of them. Mm-hmm. And that's cool. That's cool. Hey, listen, you do whatever makes you happy.
100%.
But you're going to be more relatable to people when you're doing everything. I do the same thing. I sell solar and I build a team. I train a team. And I see that that's what you're doing as well. And that's a very big thing. So it's easier to align with somebody like you that you're in the trenches. You know what it is to put deals in escrow, to get listings, to build a team, to recruit person, you know what I mean? Have an office and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I learned that in the military, right? In the military, you get marching orders to go to war, right? But when you're out there, who's that general out there with you? Mm-hmm. Right? That's where the respect is earned. Mm. That's where the trust, respect, and you're going to fight like hell, because that man's standing side by side, or that man or woman is standing side by side with you in the trenches. And so that's what I offer everybody in my organization. I'm saying, you know what? We're gonna do our bread and butter. We're in real estate. We're real estate agents.
Right.
We transact at a high volume, right? Most agents on my team sell way more than the average agent across the U.S.
Oh, really?
Way more.
Wow.
Way
what do you
more.
attribute that to?
attribute that to our culture, certainly.
Culture and training.
Culture, training. We have constant training, with our virtual model.
Yes.
All our agents have all this, 60 hours of live training every single week.
Wow.
But we also have this core group in our organization, the Decatur Thorne and Will Higgins and the Glenn McEntees. Like, I'm not the only Icon agent in my organization.
Wow.
And there's not very many of us.
Right.
In
the company.
In the company, right?
Yeah.
And to have, within our own group, agents that are selling at a high level homes is phenomenal, bro. It's just unseen.
It's true.
It's unseen.
It's true.
And then you start adding these other layers, relationship building, collaborating with the best agents in the business. I mean, it's just creating this dynamic essence where we're just all able to succeed.
Let me ask you on the real estate side, knowing what you know now, on the real estate team building side, of course, knowing what you know now, EXP would be the company you joined, but on the sales side, knowing what you know now, and you had to start from scratch, no sales, no experience. Let's say you're a 22-year-old guy or girl, no sales, no experience. How would you go about going out there and putting deals in escrow?
I would go direct to consumer. I mean, exactly what I kind of guessed what was the right path, and it turned out to be. Mm-hmm. Right? Direct to consumer.
What does that mean, though?
Well, what that means is, 80 to 90% of people are shopping on their phone. They're going to Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin.
Got it. So invest some money into some of these.
You have to invest in yourself. It's like the biggest pitfall of real estate agents. They get a $10,000 commission. They keep $10,000.
Right.
Bro, like take 10, 20%, create a business plan, put that back in, buy your own leads, and transact, right?
What if it's a 22-year-old dude or girl, doesn't have the money, cannot invest? What would you recommend them to do?
You have to find a great mentor.
Okay.
A great mentor. No matter what company it is. There's great ones out there. Yeah. Alignment, right? Back to alignment.
Right.
Align with a great mentor. And you gotta, this is another thing that I've noticed in this industry. A lot of people are scared to work.
Yeah.
They're scared to work, bro.
It's true.
They want it, but they're not going to put in 8 to 16 hours a day.
Yep.
Right? And if you don't have a paycheck, you need to get your ass out there and you need to do every single thing you need to do in order to succeed.
8 to 16 hours. I love that you said that, because most people think, oh, I worked 8 hours a day, so therefore I'm tired, because they've been programmed that 8 hours of work is a long days of work. And then what do? They go home and they sit down in front of the television. First thing they do is turn on the news, right? Tony Robbins talks about the box life.
Right.
They wake up in their box bed, get in their box car, eat out of their box cereal, go to their box, office, work out of their box, computer, get home, turn on their box, right? And the first thing that the news tells you is, good evening. Then they proceed to tell you why it's not so good. Then people get depressed. And this is the cycle that goes on and on over and over and over. Yeah. And so when you say 8 to 16 hours, that's so key, because this is what I tell my sales guy. If you're going to go out there and dedicate for example, you had a job, then you started your real estate business. If you're going to dedicate 8 hours a day to make somebody else rich, your boss, why wouldn't you dedicate at least half of the time to making yourself rich? Does that make sense? Like, get out of work your job 9 to 5 and work your business 5 to 9, man. Go out there and knock on doors. Go out there and work on the weekends. But most people don't have that grit, bro.
No, they don't.
They don't have that grit. So one advice I would give people is, you know what you could do? Door knocking is still acceptable.
100%.
Go and knock on some doors. Go get in the sun. Go get a tan. Some of you guys need a tan and some exercise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's some people that are broke. They need a tan. I don't need much of a tan, but I do need exercise, right? But when I got started with Power, bro, I had lost a lot of money right before the pandemic. Then we got back on track, and then the pandemic hit, right? And I said, the fastest way for me I got to make $200,000 this year no matter what. And I had lost basically everything. I went and I knocked on doors, man. I knocked on doors for about 3 months. Non-stop. Saturdays, I was working from 10 to 6 or 7 p.m., right? Knocking on doors, right? Throughout the day, during the day, making phone calls, recruiting people, and I was working 12-hour days every single day, Saturdays, 8 hours, man. And so, but I got my first couple of sales. I built my team, and I acted as if from the beginning. I told people, I'm going to be in the top income earners in the entire company. I'll be #1 mentor in the company in a year. People were like, you're a rookie. How do you figure? The guys even got insulted.
Right.
1 year later, that happened. #1 mentor in the company.
Nice.
I'm not saying that to like toot my horn. I'm saying that because that comes from grit that most people don't have. That's why I asked a question, right?
Yeah.
And you're right. Finding the right mentor, finding that alignment.
Yes.
Some people, they're not going to align with you. You know why? Because they're too lazy.
Yeah.
Some people, they're not going to align with me because they're too late. I'll blow them out of the water. I'll say, look, you know what? This is Eagle School.
Right.
You got to go to Duck School. That's where you belong. Because see, what we teach in our team, in our organization, is Eagle School. We build sharp people that want to change their family tree, their family's trajectory, right?
Yes.
Man, anyways, I get off on a
No, I love
tangent.
it, brother. Yeah, I mean, you're hitting all points that lead to that success, right?
Yeah.
But people just don't want to work, bro. They really
right.
don't, or they're scared to connect. People want to hide behind text messaging and emails.
Yes.
Like pick up the damn phone and talk to somebody. Go out there and meet somebody face to face.
In sales, go out there and introduce yourself to more people.
That's it.
More people need to know your name, what
Right.
you do, have your business card, know that you sell the American dream or whatever it is that you sell. Introduce yourself to more people. That's why most people, they're broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of very busy, broke people because they're busy with a bunch of stuff that don't produce results. At the end of the day, what moves a needle?
Yeah.
You know what moves a needle? Getting in front of people and letting them know that there's a bunch of real estate agents, they're secret agents.
Oh yeah, completely.
There's real estate agents, man, that their cousins don't know that they're realtors. Their neighbors don't know they're realtors. Then they're complaining about how come they're not achieving what they strive to, what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a cycle, man, and But I think it's been instilled for too long. That's where the traditional element comes in. That's been the cycle. You can see a real estate agent's career from start to finish.
Right.
I mean, you could predict that.
Yeah.
You can predict it.
Okay.
I can tell you what a successful agent is going to do. You tell me what you're doing today, you're going to be doing it 3 to 5 years from now.
Right.
Right? Maybe you'll get lucky and become a broker, and then you got to take on all the broker responsibilities.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But bro, I'm building a brokerage within a brokerage with no
With
liability.
all that liability.
Nothing. Right? No, I don't have to do everything that a broker has to do.
That's right.
And I'm building, like you said, a legacy career.
And aren't you guys like in a bunch of countries now too?
The international expansion. Actually, we're growing faster internationally than we are domestically.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. And that's where, again, the mindset out of like traditionally people have always been like, I'm going to farm. I'm going to sell homes right here in West Covina. Right?
Right.
Like that's cute. That's
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
But because of the power of this phone, social dynamics, like, bro, if you have 500 people that follow you on social media, how can you monetize that in any other company?
Right.
You can't.
Nope.
Here you can. And it doesn't matter if you're in California, New York, Mexico, South Africa. I mean,
It's
we're
true.
launching 3 to 5 countries almost every single quarter.
Wow.
So sky's the limit when it comes to growth.
Indeed, man. You mentioned about your smartphone. My philosophy is if your smartphone isn't making you money, it's a dumb phone. You know what I mean? In this day and age that we live in, man,
Yeah.
I make so much money from my smartphone with social media. I recruit people all the time. I get deals all the time. Also because I'm not like just a local business, just like you. You're an international business now.
Right.
Right? I'm not a local business. I'm a national business and soon international business. My other businesses are international, but my power business is national for now, and eventually we're going to go just like you guys did. We're copying the same model. That's why I love the model so much.
Yeah.
Let's say you have kids and you also have a lot of great experience. What advice would you give, bro, to the youngster listening to this audio? Especially that youngster, or not especially, but the reason why I say especially is because you can relate to that guy. I can relate to that guy or girl that's growing up with not the best influences around.
Yeah.
Right? So what advice would you give to a young person watching this, maybe a teenager, maybe preteen, maybe young adult, whichever one you want to address, what advice would you give that person, bro, as far as finding the right path and not getting influenced by the wrong people?
So definitely, if you have parents, I think that's a great place to start.
Right.
Admittedly, I think as teens, I think we're kind of predestined not to like pay attention to our parents.
It's true.
And not listen to them. But man, like reflecting back about just uncles, aunts, it doesn't matter, man. There's a wealth of knowledge, life experience that all these individuals have. That if you just took some time, and I notice some teens and young adults do it.
Yes.
Now I have conversations with them, and sometimes they will sit and listen. They're apt to learning. I really believe that the generation that we have today, is smarter, stronger, has more capability than generations in the past.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of hope and opportunity there.
Yeah.
And I hope that their path is a little bit more fluid than maybe those that we experienced, right?
Yes.
So maybe less difficult environments to grow up in.
Yes.
And better opportunity, and taking those life experiences and then applying them in whatever they want to do: business,
Right.
sports, education.
Right.
So I don't think that there's one path set for everybody.
Sure.
I think once you find something that you're good at, then to start to carve that out as much as you can.
Makes sense.
And create something great from that, because everybody's destiny is a little bit different.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things about this day and age, and I say this all the time too, is the information is out there. When you and I were kids, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have podcasts. Now the successful people in whatever field you're looking for, you can find them online. You can find podcasts about just about any topic now.
Right.
YouTube videos and YouTube channels and whatnot. Ignorance is a choice. That's one of the things that I say very often, because it's so true, right? Like, I think back of myself at the age of 18. You better believe I would have been following you. I would have been following me. I would have been following, a lot of people that I admire. I would have been researching that information. So that would be the advices, because when you're a kid, you get to the point where you think, my parents don't know.
Yeah.
You go from looking at your parents like, my parents know everything. My dad, my mom, they know everything.
Right.
Then when you get to like a teenager stage, man, you know what? They don't know that much. I'm not going to listen to them. Then when you get older, you realize again, hey, you know what? They do know. They didn't know the entire time.
They did.
Brother, how can people connect with you, brother? If people want to get in touch with you, how can they connect with you?
So socially, I'm at CA Homes Pro. That's my website, California Home Professionals. But my social handle is Icon Joe Trujillo. Or my phone number, just text me. I respond to everybody in text. It's 909-434-3004.
Awesome.
And I make myself available for everybody, brother. Like,
Perfect.
I don't care if you're licensed, top producer, broker, or you're just interested in just having a conversation. Reach out. I'll do everything that I can to help anybody.
Appreciate that, man. And that's also how you and I connected, man, via Instagram, man. So I can attest to that. My brother, it's been a great pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much, bro. I know you're a busy guy, got a lot of things going on. I thank you, my friend.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. I look forward to our partnership.
Absolutely, man. And we got to have lunch one of these days, man.
Definitely.
All right.
Man,
if you guys didn't catch value from this, I don't know, man. You must have been multitasking or something. So much value on this podcast. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead and like, comment. Go ahead and follow Joseph, and I'll see you guys on the next podcast, and I'll see you at the top or from the top.